Let's go straight to the front pages of the daily, starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with confusion over NIN, BVN link to bank accounts, CBN mom over deadline as customers lament a network failure. And here there's a picture with the rider, Managing Director, Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority, Lamata Mrs. Bimbola, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and Commissioner for Transportation, Mr. Sheung, at inauguration of the peg to commission the LMRT Red Line project at the Ikeja train station, Kudirat Abiola Way, Lagos, yesterday. Now, on page 13, Edo Guba, ROT, Labour Party, NWC reconciled aggrieved aspirants with Akpata. Nigeria economy on track. That's according to American City Mayor. On page 31, Sports, Pesahiro gives NFF condition to continue as Super Eagles coach. Stories above the banner on page 19, Nigeria imports $4 billion worth of steel annually, says Minister. MPC's decisions to raise MPR, CRR will further worsen economic woes. That's according to Obi. Our chief government should stop taking us for a ride. That's from Shoyinka. Attack on policemen in Delta, 15 missing, another body recovered. Tinubu to NLC, it's unacceptable to judge me in 9 months. You can see that story on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. Now the Punch newspaper. Punch is leading with Punch at 50. Past confirms deceitful. Nigeria must decentralize, says Shoyinka. Past confirms organizers not serious. Nigerians must negotiate their unity. That's according to Nobel laureate. Punch celebrates 50 years of Import Art anniversary lecture. Federal government vows to end hardship. And on page 3, reps raise a 20-man panel on OSIA's report, demand review. Customs sees 1.7 billion naira fake drugs in Oyo, Osun. And lastly, on the front page of Punch newspaper, federal government pays $120 million from gas debt as blackout spreads. Now let's move to the Guardian. Guardian is leading with inflation. Citizens turn to condemned expired foods in search of cheaper options. You can see that on big story pages 4 and 5. Africa may shun West for energy funding as $50 billion within. Maintain peace, keep your political activism till 2027, Tinubu tells NLC. Nominee rejects Tinubu's CBN job, cites conflicting commitment. China fourth coal in Africa calls for decentralization in Nigeria. Lastly, on the front page of the Guardian, reps demand mandatory drug test for students. You can see that on page 7. Now the Nation. Nation is leading with Tinubu. Labor's constant strike calls unacceptable. President seek understanding of reform programs rather than partisan reactions. There's a statement here. It says, if you want to directly participate in the electoral process, wait until 2027. If not, maintain the peace. Labour is not the only voice of Nigeria. On page 2, Lagos Red Rail Line takes off. President declares legacy project open. 250,000 passengers to commute daily. Ayedatiwa, Akiterewa clash over allegation of billboards destruction. You can see that on page 6. Stories above the banner. It's time to protect yourself with spiritual power. Ooni tells Obas. And lastly, on the Nation newspaper, Osimhen Shola top Pitch Awards nominees. You can see that on page 16 of the Nation, and that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break for the analysis. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damola Orushaki. Joining us to analyze the front pages of the dailies this morning is Mr. Rotimi Ajayi. He's a former regional editor, not Vanguard Media Limited. Good morning, Mr. Rotimi Ajayi.
Good morning, Damilola, and good morning to everybody in the studio.
Yes, let's go straight to the stories on the front pages. We are starting with the story of the NIN and BVN linkage to bank account. So confusion regained in the banking industry yesterday as some banks restricted access to bank accounts and none linked to the national identity number as directed by the Central Bank of Nigeria. And of course, the CBN had in a circular on December 1st, 2023, directed that banks should place restriction on all top-tier one bank account without BVN. What do you think about this?
Well, in itself, the program or the directive is a good one because it will further strengthen our financial system. It's going to protect Nigerians against scams and all that. But again, we have a problem with the implementation. And the implementation here is not the fault of Nigeria. This is the fault of the institutions that are responsible for monitoring the banking system. Years back, Nigerians had to do something they call BVN as bank verification number, and it took several months, but almost every Nigerian with a bank account has a BVN. Now, you have institutions that are working at cross purposes. This is why we need to commend the federal government on the recent decision that they have to implement the Orosai report, because now it brings into a reality the coordination of all the various institutions that are working at cross purposes are being territorial in their functions. I give you an instance: the National Identity Management Commission, the CBN, the which other organization were actually responsible for collection of Nigerian data. There's nothing that says that these people cannot harmonize their what do you call it, the data that they collect from Nigeria. Let's talk specifically about this NIN and BVN. Every Nigerian with a bank account has a BVN, and it has not been reported that there has been a kind of compromise with this BVN system. So when you go to the bank, they take your biometric, they take your picture, and then you do your BVN. Now, if they are not talking about national identity number, there is no reason to make it, to set a timer and begin to punish Nigerians on this, because if somebody has a BVN, the person is coming in for a transaction on his or her account. All you need to do is ensure, okay, at that moment you mandate that, okay, fine, you do not have a BVN, NIN, then you go back for the registration of the NIN. They don't even have to send Nigerians back to go to either local government or to immigration office or to wherever they can get their NIN. There is no reason why NINC, as the Identity Management Commission, cannot have representative or send the equipment to individual banks and ensure that they monitor it properly. So anybody with that need will be immediately registered right there within the bank, and then the need will be done. Okay, it's not everybody that will not have it. Then two, the thing applies to me. I got a message from GTB, and they set a March 1 deadline, which is today, that if you do not register, they're going to block your account. I tried severally to do it. Eventually, I was able to do it anyway. But I can tell you candidly, Damilola, that an average Nigerian who is not proficient in computer operations may not be able to go through the system and get that name linked to his or her account, because there are certain things that you need to do. First one, you need to get a code. Getting the code from your bank, you understand, for you to be able to even do your captcha, which is like another layer of code or security anyway, which is okay. And then you now go and send a code to NINC to give you a captcha, because the name that's actually being linked to your account is not exactly the national identity number that you get from NINC. The reason here is because they do not want people to be able to scam Nigeria, to scam another person. So your name is not reflected. Your name is personal to you. It's like your fingerprint or your biometric data. So what is given to the bank is what is called virtual national identity number, which is just an adaptation of your name. But to get this, to be able to arrive at this, you need to go through rigorous and Herculean 3 stages of coding, which is not a normal thing. We need somebody who's not educated will need somebody to actually guide him or her through this process. So I think it is still a problem. The federal government need, I think the Minister of Interior now, need to step into this matter and see how this can be resolved easily for Nigerians, because Iyaloja Tonja, a market woman that sells a tomato, will not be able to say, okay, I'm sending a code to my bank, I'm getting another code from NIMC to be able to link me together. And if you go to the bank, trust our work ethics in the country. You see a bank officer that is supposed to be diligent doing something on his or her desk, the person may actually be looking at a telephone or sending a text message to some family or friends or whatever. So we are not actually dutiful enough to be able to attend to customers. So it's a serious one, and it's not really confusion, it's a serious one. And in the course of this thing, the banks may expose to many Nigerians to may make them liable to scam. Because somebody will say, I want to assist you, and in the course of assisting you, the person already has your name. So the person gets away and memorize your name, and then in the course of getting your name, the person will have a link to your BVN, so your whole account system is gone. So the banks are actually the major headache of Nigeria, and I'm not surprised. It's a reflection of our Nigerian system. Who are the people running the banks anyway? They are the people that are rushing to all these useless churches that are preaching Pentecostal, preaching prosperity and hope. You understand? In intercontinental. Look at what happened to Shirley Bank. Look at what happened to all of them. They are all people that are there in the churches. So the sense of duty, the sense of customer thing is not there. So federal government needs to really sit on the bank and ensure they don't punish Nigerians. Obviously, it may not be necessary on the surface, but if we say we are going about restructuring Nigeria, there is a need to properly capture Nigerians. If you link your NIN to your BVN, the NIN is operating on its own, at its own level. It is the superior data for Nigerians. That is the data that gives the federal government the true picture of how many Nigerians are actually in Nigeria and how many Nigerians are in diaspora, if they get registered in diaspora. And it's not every Nigerian that has bank account. Are you aware of that? So they are trying to synchronize the two data together, which means in future you may not actually either of your name or your BVN can work to give you access to services. So it's a good one, the part of federal government, because it's good to ensure them to be able to have data for operations. And then it's good for our security as well, because I'll give you an instance. If you take somebody like, I don't want to give a name, somebody that has scammed Nigeria, that has looted your treasury, and the person will certainly have a bank account. And if you do not have the linkage of the NIN to the BVN, it will be difficult to actually be able to track this person down, because the BVN does not in any way link to your house address, to some other data items that NIN capture. So it's a good one on the part of federal government. It's going to be painful to get it to link together, but it's really going to work for the country to be able to capture our data system in Nigeria.
All right, let's talk about the economy. The economic downturn occasioned by the galloping inflation has pushed more Nigerians down the poverty line, and basic diets are now less affordable in most families. I know recently when you mentioned that many people should reduce and think of alternatives, but now people are now turning to expired foods and condemned food in search of cheaper options.
I want us to be able to contextualize what we are seeing here. The report that we are discussing here actually centered exclusively on Lagos. And Lagos is not Nigeria in entirety. Okay? There is an attitude in Lagos, maybe you can call it Lagos culture. Okay? You want to set the pace for the whole Nigeria to follow. Yes, I am not going to be oblivious of the fact that life in Lagos is extremely difficult, extremely expensive at this moment, and there is an attitude that goes with it. You understand? This is why you see people, because of the current cost of items, good items, they go for the what you call, ordinarily you want to call it waste food, not actually waste, the spoiled ones, and then the expire. I'm not sure anybody will want to take expired items because the NAFDAC and the customer CPC, Consumer Protection Council, should actually not allow expired items to be sold in Nigeria. But let's take the ones that are spoiled. I said sometime in Lagos, on this program, that there is something that we need to do. Yes, I mentioned that we need to adjust our system and then develop alternatives to the way we live there. I still stand by that. What is happening at the moment is that you have people who are taking advantage of the situation in the country to exploit Nigerians. The same person that is selling for you a measure of spoiled tomato for 1,000 naira is the same person that went to the market and is selling you the one that is not spoiled for 6,000 naira. But when you look at the spoiled and the unspoiled, how do you differentiate it? It's difficult. What would be the alternative that many Nigerians in Lagos now adopt? There is nobody, I guess there is nobody that is living in Lagos that does not have a kind of linkage or a network, a connection with someone living in the hinterland of Nigeria, where the bulk of these items come from. Now, when you look at the way we celebrate Uwambe, the way we go to parties in Nigeria, we find out that somebody wants to have a party in a place like Ondo State, okay, and the person wants actually be what you call the ceremonial cloth, you understand? The person may not leave Ondo State wherever in Ondo State pick up for resale, and there will be money sent to Lagos, and somebody in Lagos will get that cloth and send it back to Akure. So if you are having that mechanism for your Owambe party, why can't you use the same mechanism and get people in the hinterland to get you some of this product? All you need to do is get vehicles or transport to take it to you.
But you can't do that with something like pepper and some other things, because right now I'm reading reports where people are saying it's going to take days and this is a perishable product.
It is not correct that it's going to take this. Let me give you an instance. Ibadan to Lagos is less than 1 hour. When you look at the cost of items in Ibadan, you look at the cost of items in Lagos, you find that that's a world of difference.
You say what to me, Ibadan is not expensive. It's not as cheap as it was before. Ibadan is also expensive.
Ibadan is expensive, but it is still relatively cheaper than Lagos. If I were to be living in Lagos, believe me, bulk of the food items that I buy, I'm going to outsource it to Ibadan. I get it being sent to me. There is no country in the world where the capital city, you understand, where the people in the capital city rely on the food that is produced in that same area. Sometimes you might need to source your food from far distance, and this is what I'm trying to do. Because if you have child locks who are taking advantage of you, then why don't you think inward and see what you can do? You have families everywhere.
What of those buying in small quantity? For me to send someone to buy something from me from Ibadan, definitely I'm going to buy in large quantity. But for those buying in small quantity, I'm reading a report of a woman who says now she buys a small meat and then mixes it with biscuit bone in order to just make it balance. So these are the people buying in small quantity.
Well, I agree totally with you, because that was going to lead me to the next discussion. Why do we resort to this thing? We have failure of infrastructure. But what is the infrastructure we need? Lagos has a peculiarity again of not having constant electricity. Maybe someone will tackle that the way start paying transport system down. If we were to have constant electricity, you find out that this kind of problem that we are facing in Lagos can actually be reduced, because when you buy your food in bulk, you'll be able to actually preserve, and then you'll not be able to, you reduce the wastage content. This is where we have a problem, because you do not have visit to actually preserve some of the things that you cook, some of the raw ones, the cooked ones, and so you need to constantly go to this market and be buying on need basis. And this is where Chinese are able to take advantage of the situation in Lagos. If you get, like I gave you an example before, if you have a tiba of yam that is selling for about 1,000 naira, I don't think a tiba of yam will be up to 1,000 in Ekiti. I'll be selling for about 600, 700 naira. And it gets to Lagos and you are selling for about 3,000 naira. I mean, that is so ridiculous. That is taking advantage of Nigerians by Nigeria. Okay, so there must be a way to get out of it. It's going to be hard. But then the point is that we're going to need to think out of the box and beat these dialogues to their game. Okay, that is it. Because there is no way federal government can actually control this thing. The amount of food that you are pumping into Lagos, we will continue to have dialogues who will be taking advantage. It's like our oil subsidy or fuel subsidy. The more we subsidize, the more some people were taking advantage, and the more we were having shortage of the product because they will be taking it to neighboring countries, Niger Republic, Cameroon, what they call it, Benin Republic, and Chad. So individual now will need to look at what you can do to beat the Chinese. Resorting to waste, to the spoiled items is just one easy way. We might need to do something that is much more fundamental.
Still talking about the economy, the mayor of the city of Blanco, Texas, USA, Mike, he said that Nigerian economy is well on track. Well, many people seem not to agree with that statement because of the hardship that is currently going on in the country.
Yeah, obviously the mayor does not live in Nigeria. But again, there are so many things that people use when you are talking about calibration of the economy. When people say Nigeria is a poor country, the measurement of poverty is based on certain index, which may not necessarily reflect the situation of ground. Okay, the mayor saying that Nigeria economy is on track is not entirely wrong, because the fact that people are experiencing high inflation and everything does not mean our economy is not growing. Are you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if you look at any country in the world today, inflation is high because there are so many things that are actually combining together to provoke your economic development or the comfort of people in the world today. I was reading a report in London. I think it was on the television report in United Kingdom, where inflation, the amount of things they were buying, the prices have gone up, and then inflation is rising rapidly in London. In point of fact, a number of countries now have gone into recession. So the fact that we are having that inflation does not mean our economy is not on track. We must take note of one thing, Damilola, and I keep saying it. Our economy, our consumption system in Nigeria, please take note of the word I'm using. Our consumption system in Nigeria is basically hosted on foreign items. The bulk of what we consume and eat and drink and wear, you understand, come from outside the country. And when you have two major wars going on in the world now, there's no way to not affect. The two wars are closer to. Let's take the Russia-Ukraine war. It affected the food flow to Nigeria. And then you now have the Gaza-Israeli war, you understand, going on now. See, the two will impact the external financial system that supported the movement of food to us. And then don't forget what the guys that are controlling the Strait, these guys in Yemen, you understand, the Houthi rebels in Yemen, the pirates, who are controlling the flow, the movement of shipping lines, you understand, through the Gaza Strait. I mean the Strait, of course. I forgot it's somewhere in Yemen. The way these guys are operating has led to many shipping lines taking longer route to deliver goods and products to certain countries, and that goes on in terms of cost. That pushes up the cost of shipping, and that is going to be that cost will be bounced on customers. So when you look at it, our economy may actually be, I do not have the data with me. Our economy may actually be growing, but we are not having the impact right now because of our day-to-day consumption pattern. So I don't doubt what the mayor said. You understand? They might have a fact, data with them, but I do not have the data. But I can always say the fact that we are having this inflation of our economy is on.
All right, our time is fast spent, but Ooni of Ife told the Obas that it's time for them to protect themselves with spiritual power.
I don't know what the Ooni of Ife mean by spiritual power. I think the Obas are late in arriving at this matter. The Obas led themselves to be deceived long ago. They abandoned the path of their forefathers. They went in the name of becoming born again or whatever, abandoned the cultural elements that would have strengthened us. They were going kneeling down before some guys and saying they are born again and they have decided to take foreign religion. The fact of the matter is, when you forget a stream or a river that forgot its origin, is certainly going to dry. So the Obas are crying. I'm not surprised, because you abandoned what your grandparents actually gave you, the culture, the practice, and everything. You went to that one that was imported to you, and you did not even know the origin, how it came about, and now you are complaining that you are having problems. How is it going to resort to spiritual thing? Who is the Babalawo or the whatever? What knowledge system does the Ooni himself even have in terms of indigenous, or any of the Obas have in terms of indigenous system that supported their parents and all? They led us astray, and I think it is the time they pay for their deceit. You understand? We can't continue like this. Of course, it is good to resort to your internal system to defend yourself. That's why you have your culture. The culture is a system of life that gives you sustenance, protection, and makes you to thrive. But the traditional rulers abandoned it when they started following Islam, Christianity, and all. There is nothing essentially wrong with the way we were living. The Igbo people came and told us that it was devilish. It's a lie. I mean, and those people are in the mega churches that are telling you that your traditional system is wrong. They are deceiving you. You understand? Don't forget that those of us that are living today, we have parents raised to N. N is the level of whatever you want to take. If those people survived at their time, why do you think the system on which they survived in, which they live in a harsher country, in a harsher environment than us, you think that system was not superior enough to sustain them? And now we are here today, and now we're suddenly saying the system they used to weapon. That's it. We forgot our origin. That's why we are trying.
All right, let's end this on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. And the first person speaking this morning is Mr. Mr. says, we just have to take things easy, dear. They say you cannot eat your cake and have it. Mrs. says that phrase is obsolete. Now you can eat your cake and have loads of it. Just give me more money. That's it.
I don't know how somebody can eat a cake, because once you've eaten it, you've eaten it. It's a good one. You understand? That you can say I laughed for the first time. You made me to laugh, and it's a good one. And like I always say, that cartoonist, I owe him something they are saying, because he has a way of cracking me up, and I think it's a good. That's one of the biggest products of Mr. and Mrs.
I will definitely tell him that Mr. Rotimi owe you something.
Are you going to have Papa to say?
I know that definitely. I can always call him. The technology is working this time. Thank you, Mr. Rotimi, for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
Yes, don't forget to like and follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can also visit our website www.vanguardngr.com to get more of our top stories. My name is Damlola Ogunshaki. Have a lovely weekend.